X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door, it's real.
We're still perfecting the audio.
Let me readjust both the
process.
Here and we're good.
Ba, ba, ba.
Okay.
Yes,
awesome.
indeed.
Wow.
Welcome
Oh wait. Shit.
to the Last Call podcast. I am Philip Bracco. Here with me, I got
Jimmy Salazar.
Nick Stone.
And Paul Adami coming in with maximum effort.
maximum effort. And right now, first and foremost, spoiler alert. If you have not watched Deadpool yet, turn this fucking podcast off right now.
Send
and
the
go
children
see
to
it.
bed.
What are you waiting for?
Right.
This is going to be our full-fledged discussion, spoiler, full review of Deadpool.
Oh,
Right,
man,
because
it's gonna be up there with a full frontal nudity
Yeah.
shot. It's
Right,
gonna be great.
right. We're drinking. We're going to
talking
talk about
all
it.
of it. We're not holding back spoilers. Again, you've been warned. So
We're
I
going
think,
in
I think
raw.
that's it. Yeah, we're
yeah.
we're
If you're
going in
listening,
raw.
if you're listening to this right now still, and you haven't seen the movie, it's your fault.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame
Wait,
on
one more
you.
time for
Or
the
you
people in
hate yourself, so.
one more time for the people in the back. If you're still listening to this and you haven't seen this movie, get the fuck off of this right now.
And
Unless
you,
you just feel like listening to a couple or a few nerds discuss Deadpool and you have no interest in seeing the movie, which would be weird, but hey, thanks for
right,
listening.
right.
Hey,
but
whatever-
but I'm
whatever
talking to
floats.
you. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie yet, you're a dumbass.
You with
Watch the movie
hot
right
dog in your
now.
hand.
And then come back and listen.
Come back,
and rate
yes.
and review and, and all
Right.
that shit.
And rant and love it like we do.
And love it
Love
so
it,
much.
like just a sweet, sweet loving. Oh
First,
god.
Let's just do a quick round. What did everybody think of Deadpool? Because I personally loved it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in theaters again very, very soon.
I'm pretty sure I came multiple times.
Oh, wow.
And that whole,
that good.
I probably need another cigarette.
Was it the pegging?
not even close. Sadly, it was nowhere near close to it. Probably a lot farther up there. We'll just go with that.
All right.
Awesome.
For not knowing very much about Deadpool, I loved it. I thought it was fucking hysterical.
Yes.
Great.
Right.
Hell yes.
I loved it. It was a great movie. It matched all of my expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then some.
And then some.
I agree. I think for me, I didn't read a whole lot of comics as a kid, but I did read some Deadpool comics. So but I would still consider myself a casual Deadpool fan. Whoa. And even with that said, this movie hit every mark that I wanted it to hit. It gave you the origin story. It pushed boundaries for comic book movies. There was plenty of swearing, plenty of blood and guts, and there were even some titties in there. And
Yeah.
Stan Lee. And
and
it was a
silhouettes.
good time. Yeah.
Stan Lee as the strip club DJ was
Stan
easily
Lee J, if you
the
will.
best cameo he has done so far.
And that was the best.
Easily.
I think even Stan Lee would be happy if he were to, sadly and unfortunately, pass away. If that was his last
Yeah,
cameo,
we were
I
discussing
think
this
he
last
would be
week
100%
Where
okay.
about
with
how much time we had left with Stan Lee.
Right, yeah.
Hopefully, the time we do have left with him and the few movies he's gonna get here in the next few years,
Yeah.
these cameos are just top what we all saw tonight
If we get
or this weekend.
Well, if we can get in the we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but in the Deadpool sequel or in a sequel down the road, if we can just get Stan Lee straight up motorboating, like titties in Stan
my
Lee's
God.
face.
Yes.
That's going to be
I
the
would
only
love
way
it.
to top the cameo
I
he
would
had in this
love it.
movie.
At the same strip club
At the same strip club.
where he's motorboating a stripper when he's supposed to be announcing the next dancer.
they start the movie celebrating that him and his girlfriend are back together, and they're there just having a good ass time, and then they just happen to get really drunk and get Stanley on stage to motorboat one of the
No.
strippers.
No,
we
he
started like that.
They just start there, and
He
he's.
motorboats Ryan Reynolds' ass.
Oh yes.
We got a lot of bare Ryan Reynolds' ass in this
Yes.
movie.
we just got a lot of
Both
Ryan
and I
Reynolds
was
on
strangely
Star.
comfortable with it.
Right. I was
Okay.
not. I was not upset.
I think it's because it was expected.
Actually, I think mainly, yeah, because it was very expected, and we kind of had to deal with it when he was in Waiting, and they had the game where they
yeah.
show each other their dick.
the goat.
The
That's
goat,
right.
and then ever since then, a lot of people were like, I wonder if he ever really went into it or was kind of curious about that. And then you came with Deadpool, and it's like, yeah, let's just show him naked. Lots of Ryan Reynolds ass.
Yes,
everywhere.
the Christmas sweaters.
the Christmas sweater sex. Oh man.
I think everyone. Oh, real quick. Is his girlfriend in the movie?
Vanessa Carlisle.
what is she in? Because she looks
Gotham.
so familiar.
Gotham or Firefly. Use probably.
Okay, Firefly.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was Crazy Eyed Chloe on How I Met Your Mother.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
There we
the
go.
whole time.
That's the way you know
time.
her. That's
I
the
was
way
like,
you know her.
Crazy
That
Eye
is.
Chloe.
Well, that and Firefly. I haven't watched Gotham
Okay.
yet.
But she's
All right.
she's
But I was
adorable,
like,
man.
that looks like
Yeah.
that crazy bitch that Marshall was dating in How I Met Your Mother for like one episode.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell Sam so bad, but I didn't want to be wrong. And then I've never like looked into it. So thank
Yeah, that's
you
her.
for confirming that. No,
She plays
I thought
Lee.
Cindy.
Hey,
Hero
Cindy.
Gotham.
Come here.
Come on,
here. Just
You-
another person's opinion.
You saw
real
the movie,
quick.
right?
If you could
Seen
just,
it?
you're right into Jimmy's microphone.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What'd you think of Deadpool? Because you saw it today, or you saw it yesterday, right? When did you see it?
Why is yes? Yeah,
You saw it, but you saw it.
I saw it.
Okay.
Okay.
What did
What'd
you
you
think of Deadpool?
I think it was probably the best movie I've seen in the longest time.
Nice. Boom. That's
Awesome.
that's as much as you
Boom.
need right there.
Such a bubble. Such a bubble.
I thought all of the I thought all of the cast was great. I especially like T.J. Miller.
God, he
I
played a
like
perfect
that
weasel.
even though a lot of the funny bits were in the trailer, there were still way
The funny
more
bits
funny
for
shit.
T.J. Miller.
Well, right, but T.J. Miller, it's not like all of his funny bits were in the trailer, you know?
Right,
Like, he
sure.
still had some weight in the movie. I like, again, I'm not too familiar with the Deadpool universe, very casual fan, but if he's an actual character in the comic,
Yes.
does he
He's-
actually
he's-
run a bar
Weasel.
like
He's,
that?
he actually
Weasel.
the old lady Blind Owl
yeah.
and Weasel are both very prominent. They are pretty much his little gang in
That's
his
awesome.
entire
Right.
comic
That's
book
awesome. I had
series.
no
In the
idea.
comics, Weasel is his weapons procurer.
Did he go by the name Weasel in the
Yes.
movie? Did I
Yeah, he
miss
did.
that?
They didn't really say it too much.
They mentioned
He
it like
said,
once.
He said like
Yeah.
once, and then he went by like Wheeze a couple times. But they didn't.
Wheeze, that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Wheeze.
But
Okay.
he is Weasel, and they did go with that, especially with Al. I liked Al. The girl who played Al was
Yeah.
perfect too.
Where she was
Yeah.
complaining about the coke all the time, and
The
he's like,
fucking
God, I miss
cocaine,
Coke.
dude. That was beautiful.
"Okay, Al, I have a kilo and a half of coke buried somewhere in the house."
Right next to the cure
Right
for
next
cancer
to-
blindness.
Yeah. The
Cure for blindness.
Have fun. I was like, wow.
Oh man. Favorite jokes? Does anybody have one particular favorite bit that came out of the movie?
He got his name from the soap.
Oh,
When he's
the
giving him the
Ajax.
shit, he's like, it's Francis White. He said it's Ajax. So come on, he got it from this. And he says it he got it from the soap.
What was
And
up
it's
with with Ajax being so obsessed with his own name and him wanting Deadpool to say it all the time? Like, what was that?
That was
about?
the running joke because he's like, my name is Ajax. No, it's not. It's Francis.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of like a.
I thought that there might be something like deeper than that I wasn't
No, it was just-
getting. Oh, yay!
Just so.
Hence the meme that's been running around since Friday of the Ajax soap with the name Francis written on it.
I
Yes.
was wondering what that was about. Nick, would you like to introduce this shot because you
Uh,
actually
new
just
shot.
made this shot?
That we thought of last week, and what is Paul pointing at?
Oh, are we waiting
never mind.
for Sam
Yeah.
to do the shot too?
Oh.
Okay.
Are we?
Yeah,
Are we?
new
Are we?
shot we
Are we?
thought of last week, the week before, sometime. I forget
Yeah, I think
when.
a week or
Last
two ago.
couple weeks. Just Energon. It's vodka, Red Bull, and then grenadine and Raz, right? To make
Yeah.
it blue.
And blue,
Make
yeah.
it purple.
And blue.
It's pretty, guys. It's really
it
pretty.
looks awesome.
It smells and tastes a bit like orange Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Or grape
yes.
Rye, I'm
Great
sorry.
Kool-Aid.
Speaking of which, I know this is our Deadpool episode, but we might as well bring it up in case I forget later. I'm sure you saw the news about them wanting to do, or they're releasing a Transformer movie every year for the next 3 years.
Yes,
Cheers,
starting next
everybody.
year.
Cheers.
We got
Cheers.
Sam
New
here.
shot.
Energon,
To
by
the
the way.
The
Energon.
Energon. Cheers.
Thank God I go to work late tomorrow because I am not sleeping after that one anytime soon.
Hey, I'm just happy that we didn't get liquor all over my microphone stand this time.
That was really good. That was
We're getting better at this.
better than I even expected. And that was, that
Oh
was
yeah,
great.
that was pretty damn good.
Thank you.
But yeah, I saw that. They plan on doing 3 movies
like
within
17,
3 years.
18, 19, right?
Yeah, starting next
Yeah.
year.
That
Are
next
you-
year.
Is
late
that a yay
summer.
or a nay? Because I'm
I don't
kind
know.
of like,
I've been so like optimistic, wanting it to be better,
Optimistic
and better,
prime.
and
He's
better.
being an optimist prime.
and
He's being
then
an
it's just
optimistic
been
prime.
hard crushed by these
Yeah.
movies.
as they
that-
get worse and worse in their own spectacular
Is
way.
Mark Wahlberg like the new Shia LaBeouf? Is he supposed
I don't
to be in
know.
every single?
There have been rumors that he's going to be back for the other ones. There's also rumors that Megan Fox's character will be back for the other ones.
There was something
Shia
about
LaBeouf
that.
has said that he will not do another one. period, no matter what they say.
I don't think
God
anybody
we
I
have
like
to see the
Shia
parents.
LaBeouf, and I think that's probably a good decision. that he
Probably.
stay away.
He's got enough going on as it is. without him having
That
to do
boy
another one.
spent way too much time with Marilyn Manson doing drugs, and he's kind of gone off the deep end.
Anywho.
Starting with that night.
Yeah.
Right back to Deadpool. What are we talking about? Favorite? Are we talking
The
about
jokes, the favorite jokes.
I gotta say, one of my absolute favorite jokes was it was a side joke that had nothing to do with the movie at all, but the joke about Liam Neeson and Taken had
caught
to
that
be
one?
one of my favorite
You
jokes,
caught
and he
that
was just
one.
like 3 movies. At some point, this guy's just you got to figure he's a bad parent. Oh man, I
That was
loved it.
one of the
I
greatest
loved
parts
it.
about the movie too. Is I remember Paul was telling us he was the first one to watch it. That he was thinking about watching it again just because there's so many jokes that they come out that you don't even catch, that you're laughing so hard at one joke you're missing 2 more.
Well, that's true.
Right.
And all the
And
little things here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little background jokes.
I almost
Little
watched.
Easter eggs
I
and
watched it
everything.
Friday. In the afternoon, I almost went back and bought another ticket to watch the next showing that was coming up.
that says a lot. That says a
It
lot.
says a
about
lot,
how
especially
good that
coming
movie
from a guy like Paul. For him to want to immediately watch the same thing he just sat down to watch again and pay for it again.
Yes,
that
I would have
speaks
gone through it
volumes,
again.
ladies and gentlemen.
And then I think my other favorite joke in the movie was when they were at the goddamn the school. And
school.
and
Oh.
yeah, and he was just straight up like, "It's a pretty big house. It's weird that we don't see like a real X-Man or
More-
whatever."
I guess
more
the
X-Men.
studio couldn't
Right.
afford
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah.
It's like we couldn't afford more than
It's like we
more
couldn't afford a
X-Men.
third one.
I actually like the fact that they even showed the school to begin with.
Right,
That
yeah.
threw me off a little
So
bit.
my favorite joke is when Colossus is dragging Deadpool and he's like, "I'm going to take you to talk to Professor X."
Oh, and,
and-
he makes the reference
Yes,
to
and he's like,
both of them.
"Oh, is it McAvoy or Stewart?"
Yeah.
I got
And he's
confused
like,
at this point.
"The divergent timelines get me confused. What are we talking about here?"
That was good.
That one I caught.
That-
I actually almost missed the entire opening sequence in the taxi cab. Just from the first
That's
joke when he
awesome.
talks about his face, like immediately he started talking about why is about a honey boo boo or no Mama Bear,
Mama June.
Mama June after
Yeah.
yoga's like, what does that even taste like? And I almost from that point on I almost laughed so hard I missed that entire scene.
Yes.
because I was laughing too hard. At
Right.
He said it's like 2 hobos having sex and
that.
a
Two almost
piss
fucking
alley
over
of
a hot some shit like that.
piss sandwich
I
or
didn't
something
even
like
hear
that.
the whole thing. I was
Fuck.
laughing so hard at that opener.
You
That
guys
was
pretty much
great.
took all of my
I
favorites.
also-
My only next one would have to be him constantly telling Ajax Francis that he had something in his teeth.
Yes, that was
He's on
great.
Made You Look.
That was great. Oh man, I love
okay.
too that the taxi driver was just 100% immediately okay with a high five as payment.
A crisp
He didn't
high
even
five.
question
A
it.
crisp high
high
five.
five. Yeah, that's right.
And then at the
Turn my
end, the
wallet.
last ride was like, "Oh, do I get another crisp high five?" No, you get crisp 10.
Yeah.
He's got the brother. He's got the cousin in the
in the
trunk.
trunk,
yes.
That was beautiful.
Who's in the trunk?
Which
Oh.
I think he might have died at the
No,
because that
no.
car
He
hit
was
that
yelling.
trunk
He was
pretty
yelling.
fierce.
He was
I mean,
yelling.
Or at least he was extremely hurt.
Yeah, he
looked
was
like it.
He was wounded pretty critically.
But
But
another
then again, that
thing,
was a big trunk, so
another thing I loved is that Deadpool kept leaving behind his munitions.
Oh yeah,
bag.
Every time.
Oh, and apparently that was a tie-in joke for the budget cut. There was supposed to be this huge firefight with all of Deadpool's guns.
Really?
And when they cut the budget, they had to cut that scene. So it was a joke to the cast where he would keep forgetting his ammo bag places.
I loved it.
Because they just couldn't
that is
afford
beautiful.
it. They couldn't afford it.
I
they
did
could
love it
afford
though.
The bad guys and him shooting.
Where
Yeah.
he's calling Mojinder.
Oh, and then that all happened. He actually had his number with his logo on it.
Yeah.
That was fucking good. I was like, wow.
man.
They're just going with it on this one.
Yeah, I loved it.
But the crazier thing about that really surprised me the absolute most was the romance angle of the whole
Yes.
thing.
It was
That-
a good love
that
story.
actually
That it was a
pulled-
love
that actually
story?
pulled me in because I mean the whole thing's zany. It's crazy. We're talking about an overly violent, overly flirtatious,
Yeah.
very just sadistic superhero, and then he just gets a super soft spot for this girl, and for some reason that just pulls you in a little more. You're like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
actually believe his weakness for her.
Yeah.
And then the final fight scene, I don't know why I love this so much, that she didn't just sit in the fucking tube being completely helpless that entire time.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Wow, ain't that something? We got to
Here
pass
you go.
on. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
I guess
Cheers,
hey,
man.
anything does happen in a live podcast at a bar.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Salud.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome.
Hasta la
Awesome.
vista.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was great.
Okay.
It's Fireball.
So-
Nick doesn't do Fireball.
Fireball.
So getting back to the, I loved his girlfriend in this movie.
oh, yeah.
she
you were saying
wasn't.
that she didn't just say in the,
yeah,
the
she wasn't.
tube.
She wasn't. even-
Vanessa Carlisle.
Yeah, she wasn't dainty.
Myrna Baccarin.
yeah, she wasn't dainty. She was just as sarcastic and crass as he was.
And I love that she was like, "I'm not a damsel in distress."
I love that. Yeah, like in the last
God,
fight
yes.
where she gets herself out and saves him.
Oh, yeah.
Now
yeah.
that was
That is a
awesome.
comment I've been making
That
to
was
people for a while now. I
fucking-
do not want a damsel in distress. I want a partner in crime.
There,
Yeah.
And she was
Yes.
the epitome of it, man. Like she fucking stabbed the motherfucker through the back
Dude,
with the sword.
Nick, that's brilliant. I'm 100% stealing that from you.
Yes, I've said that to Sarah. Mentioned that to our friend Shantae over there, as well as their friend who
Don't want a
I
damsel in
briefly had
distress. I want a
Right.
partner
evening
in
with that
crime.
we
She
don't
who-
talk about.
She who should not be named.
Yes.
Fucking A, that's good. That's
What,
good
my
stuff,
second
man.
ex-wife? I'm not naming her.
We're not even gonna go there.
You deserve residuals off of every time somebody fucking uses that because that's great.
Thank you.
That's really, really good.
I think I might get that tattooed on my ass actually.
Nice, nice.
so she can see it.
right
if she's-
below, below the 2 dot moles on my ass, and just make it look like a smiley face.
Yeah.
So she can
nice.
see it
So it
and
looks
spank
like
it while
teeth.
she's pegging you.
But
No,
But
no butt
Vanessa
stuff. I'm
Carlisle-
not Kanye.
Uh-huh.
Myrna Baccarin, Vanessa Carlisle was a great romantic
She was-
interest.
She was surprisingly good, and I gotta say, out of just off the top of my head, maybe I'm wrong, and please correct me if I am, but out of like the majority of superhero movies, this is one of the best love stories that we've actually, because I don't know, it didn't feel like it was just there for the sake of being a love
It-
story.
it wasn't
actually
forced.
revolved around
Like
the entire
in
plot.
the Wolverine movie, I think they briefly showed that relationship he had when
Yeah.
he was in Canada or whatever.
That's
It
right.
wasn't forced.
Right, it wasn't forced. It was an organic part of the plot that wrapped around the entire movie. And it'll be interesting to see how they play with that
Well-
in the sequels.
Well, it was great that she bitched him out
Oh, yeah.
in the middle
You
of the
left-
fight scene. You know, when they're talking, and she's like, "You left me," and they're
That was great.
They're
I-
arguing.
I gotta say, the scene where, where Ryan Reynolds is like getting tortured to trigger the mutation. That
Oh,
was one of the
God.
most brutal
Yes.
scenes. Like, oh man, I just you had to feel for him in that moment, just because of all the torture that he could endure without it triggering, and then being stuck in a chamber where you can't breathe, just on the edge of like dying.
Right.
For what was it?
A weekend, he
A
said?
weekend.
A weekend.
Fuck that. Like,
They just
fuck
put him in there
all
like,
of
let's
that.
And-
have a
and-
nice weekend. Like they left him in there for 2-3 days.
Right. And
No
Before they
way.
came back.
and that works towards at least the story, the original origin story that was given, air quotes, because it took them in the comic books taking his heart out
Oh, okay.
to trigger his mutation. So the scars are there from the torture.
All that. But
That's cool.
I can go with this story for now. The one they went with.
Right.
In the movie, very well played out. It was as dark and as sadistic and as brutal as a Deadpool origin story could be, because
Right.
his life is all just torture and brutalness to like the zany levels.
Well,
Yeah.
and then that, and the 71 or what was 49 confirmed kills.
Oh, right.
89, about to be 90.
Right.
It's 41 confirmed kills. about
41,
90,
yeah.
That was beautiful.
One every week or whatever it was.
One every 7 weeks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people get a haircut.
Yeah.
That was excellent. One of the gripes that I've heard about that I didn't really think about until I read it was that you didn't really understand the motive behind the villains. Like, what exactly were they doing? Were they creating mutants and selling them
Yeah,
off to buyers?
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
But they didn't
It
really.
really wasn't like push
So-
into it. Maybe
Yeah.
they probably pulled off of it because they didn't want to
Well-
put too much in there, force too much, have it seem too cluttered. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna slap a collar on you and auction you
Well,
off.
when you really think about it, I mean, look how he got off. Like he just nonchalantly killed the main bad guy at the end mid speech, just like this is that moment where you.
so anticlimactic.
So I think the whole
That
point
was
of that,
great.
I mean, even in the opening credits, it just said like some British villain.
Oh, right.
Like, it
Right.
Was,
Oh,
it was
I loved
never
it.
supposed.
I loved
The
it.
opening credits were great.
The opening was beautiful. There's some douchebags.
A comedic
Yeah.
sidekick, you know.
And it was like the real
CGI
heroes and the
character.
writers.
Right.
I was like,
A CGI character.
Right. Okay, I have to bring this up. When I saw it in theaters, I was like, I gotta bring this up on the podcast. We gotta talk about it. They got their budget slashed. I think it was, at the end of the day, their budget outside of marketing, the budget for the movie was like $56 million.
All right.
Okay. I haven't Googled this, but I would imagine that the budget for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is probably at least 5 times as much as the budget was for this movie. If someone explain to me why the fucking CGI
I am hitting my head
looks
against
so
the microphone
bad
right now.
because with the limited budget that they had, Colossus looked great
Oh, he
all
looked
the time.
amazing.
Yeah.
He looked great.
Even when Angel Dust was strangling him with the
that looked
cord,
cool. You saw
and you
the
could actually see
Holy
the
shit,
strain on him,
wow.
and it actually looked like
Yes.
skin coming up. Yes,
He looked great all the time. Every major action scene did not look like cheap CG. It looked really, really well done. There was one or two moments where I was like, "Ooh, that looked bad."
where he's holding the guy up with the swords.
Yeah,
When they
yeah,
come
yeah.
back to him, that
Yeah.
looked like CG all the way.
Right, for sure. But I'm talking like at the end when like what were they on, like a ship or a
like,
helicarrier of
they
some
were
sort?
they were claiming
It was
When
an abandoned
that-
hair carrier.
like
Um,
that had to have been CG, and it looked really.
it wasn't
really,
a helicarrier.
It looked
Not a
good.
helicarrier.
Yeah, but it
It
was
looked
a
good
ship.
though.
Yeah.
It looked good.
TMNT 2 budget is $25 million, but that was the 1990 release.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Right? Hold up.
Where like half the budget went to the animation.
But shout out
you know.
to that movie,
Right.
Because that movie's got to be the best one.
With the
ever.
Super Shredder?
Secret of the Ooze, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Taka and Raza.
what was it?
Fuck yes.
With Scar and
Taka and
Fun
Raza.
fact.
Yes.
Fun fact. You know who played Super Shredder?
Who?
Kevin Nash.
No
From wrestling.
way.
yeah.
He was Super Shredder.
What?
It
That's
was
awesome.
It was
But he wasn't regular.
No,
Shredder?
wait, no. I believe he was regular Shredder, and then James Avery, the one who played Uncle Phil, also played Shredder at one point too.
No way.
You can look
okay,
it up.
I knew he was the voice in the cartoon.
yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he
I-
actually.
he did a small role, but I do
That would
remember.
be
I do remember
amazing.
distinctly that Kevin Nash was Super Shredder
That's
for
badass.
TMNT 2.
That's
Oh,
super cool.
speaking of continuity issues, how many people digged the part where Deadpool, Wade Wilson, before he's Deadpool,
Yeah.
was talking about his most prized possession, and the first thing you see is the Deadpool from
Weapon X
an
toy?
Yeah, the
activation,
Weapon X toy.
Oh yes.
yes.
Oh, the
Or the
Weapon X toy.
the
Yes,
opening
that
a
was
little
credits.
action
so good.
figure
That was
of
so good.
the
There was the thing. What was really good? I mean, I know Paul picked up on it. Is all the little itty bitty details that went into this movie. You can tell that they really did give two shits about this movie. They really did their homework, or they are devout to this whole the Deadpool lore.
well. That's why the writers are the true heroes of the movie.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they went above and beyond. I mean, even when maybe the little nuances really made that film, but even without the little shout outs,
right.
the movie still would have been good. Like Nick said, Nick isn't a hardcore Deadpool devout, but
Yeah.
he still very much enjoyed it, which I do feel like even if you're not a big Deadpool fan, you can go see this movie and love it because it was very
Find the humor,
actiony.
find the
yeah,
love the
find
action.
the humor, find the romance, find everything
I
that's
feel
good
like,
with it.
as a very casual Deadpool fan myself, I felt like the origin story was so important to this
And-
movie because you could go in not knowing anything about Deadpool, and now you know everything you need to know.
But the
I
best
love
loved
movie
how
for the
they
cinematic
actually
version.
spread it out as he broke the fourth wall and decided to give you a little bit more.
or the
a little
16th
bit more,
the,
a
wall.
little
six,
bit
the
more.
16th wall.
The 16
Can we
walls,
just do a
yes.
fourth wall break and a fourth
That was
wall
a
break?
good
That's
gag.
like
That was a
16
good gag.
walls. That
And
was
then
good.
He was breaking the fourth wall just to break the fourth wall there.
Yeah, just
Right.
for the sake
That's
of it.
what Deadpool
or when he
does.
was like, when he was fighting with the dude on the bridge early on, and he was just like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking
Colossus,
to them."
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was
Yeah, where
fucking
Colossus
great.
is like, what are you talking about?
And see-
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them.
But that's a main staple of even his comic books, where he's talking to the audience, and then everybody else around him is like, who are you talking to?
Right,
and he's
right.
Like, never,
So,
never mind.
The
addressing
few
what
cartoons that he's been popping in here last couple
does
years, they've done the same thing.
Yeah.
I think
It's
with
his
the
shtick.
Ultimate Spider-Man, I think that happened at
That's
one point.
great.
It's his
I
MO.
love it.
It
I
did,
love it.
and Ultimate Spider-Man by itself breaks the fourth wall a lot
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Spider-Man. But I want to address something you brought up to me, Phil,
Hit me with it.
with SourceFed Nerd podcast, the Superhero Roundup.
Yes.
You said you listened to it. I didn't
did.
listen to it.
I listened to most of it.
Right,
I think,
but
yeah.
DJ Woldridge complained that Deadpool, being a self-aware character in the comics and in should be in the movies and all that,
Right.
should have addressed that Ryan Reynolds was essentially Deadpool.
Right, that he was Ryan Reynolds and he was playing Deadpool
Right,
because he even showed the magazine that had Ryan Reynolds on it.
the people's sexiest characters and all that. Hold on,
okay,
hold
yeah,
on.
go with it, Paul. I want to jump off
But
right now.
but I think they did enough already.
I don't think it hurt the movie. I disagree with Steve Zaragoza and DJ from SourceFed. They had a lot of negative things to say about it, and they were just, and that's okay. It's okay to have
their
a different
opinion.
opinion on it, and they were just saying because they're the diehard comic fan. At least
Whoa,
DJ is a diehard comic fan.
Steve is a cinema snob at this point.
And he was just saying that the jokes felt like they were just jokes to be jokes, that they weren't necessarily. If you take Deadpool as a comic book character and the things that he would reference in Breaking the Fourth Wall, that in this movie he would know that he is Ryan Reynolds and he would know that Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool as
Make
Right.
reference to
himself.
Ryan
Right.
Reynolds and stuff, which they did through other characters.
Right.
They did.
I thought they
Weasel
did
mentioned,
plenty.
told Francis to go watch Blade Trinity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he
Or,
did. Oh, that was
what
so
else?
good.
Or when he's laying his head on Blind Owl and he makes the reference to Ryan Reynolds with his method acting and
Oh,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
So they did make the little sneaks. I mean, they don't. Maybe doing that would go a little too meta.
Paul's phone's gonna blow up.
Sorry. About
Everybody
that.
get down.
Get down.
Okay, that's your night's poor
I'm
Arnold
sorry, I'm
impersonation. But I think
My
it would have been a
fault.
little too meta for them to go into the whole,
I agree.
Deadpool knows
I
he's
agree.
being played by Ryan
Well,
Reynolds.
No, they did enough where he acknowledges that it's a movie.
Yeah, without it being over the top
No,
crazy like they want.
No, it's if you went that extra step, I think it would have taken the audience out of the movie.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah,
be-
I agree.
It'd be too
I
meta.
agree. Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it would also, for an audience that may not know what a real Deadpool is, that would have been a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Very,
You know,
I can agree with you on that one. I could.
Because they already know it's Ryan Reynolds,
Right.
and you're having Deadpool. And Deadpool is making references to the fact that it's essentially a movie.
Yeah.
The production company doesn't have enough money to make more X-Men.
Apparently,
That was beautiful.
and this is only something that I haven't actually looked into numbers. I don't know where you would look into these numbers, but apparently 20th Century Fox is fucking drowning right now. They keep putting out like dud after dud after dud.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four,
most
to be
recent.
specific.
Right.
And even though it still felt like they didn't trust this movie and they cut the budget like 2 days before they shot it, which is real weird, but they needed to take a chance on a franchise, and thank God they did it on Deadpool.
Whoa,
Movie's
they
already
did-
more than
well,
quadrupled,
Yeah,
almost
just this weekend.
septupled.
But if
Just
you
this
look at it,
weekend,
they
yeah.
didn't take a chance on it. If they cut the budget in half,
That's true.
They were
took
worried
a,
about
they,
it.
They took a safe chance,
Right.
if you will. Like,
but
I
they
don't
didn't
know.
trust it.
If I was a production company in charge of throwing millions of dollars at movies, I would want to be hesitant too. But with the crowd of reception from that test footage that came out, I would have been like, "Here's the money. Like, make the movie. Like, people want to see it."
Well, but you also have a lot of.
You would have been like Marty Scarelli throwing
Scarelli.
money at hip hop stuff.
right,
Yes,
but
fuck that
but
guy.
all right,
First and
let's take a
foremost.
look at this realistically. Let's take a TV series that was popular,
Firefly.
Veronica Mars.
Okay, Veronica Mars, sure.
Well, even in Firefly, it was a great fan favorite, but it didn't have the numbers to back it.
Right.
And so if you say, oh, okay, let's make a movie out of it, Firefly, they made a movie. Joss Whedon almost funded the whole thing at
Right.
some point. And the movie didn't do as well as it should have. Only because as fans, we're like, yes, let's go see that movie. But I hate to say it, we're nerds.
Yeah.
We're going to go see that movie no matter what.
Sure.
But
yeah.
the rest of America doesn't have that reference.
That's true. Let's say, even though 20th Century Fox slashed the budget, they did dump a shitload of money into advertising because you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Deadpool advertising.
Oh, fuck
the
yeah.
advertising was
Especially the last month
everywhere.
or so.
But
No.
well,
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds also put a lot of time into that.
I believe that.
did.
Free
With
time.
his stolen
But
suit.
see, the thing
Yes.
is too is not only was it everywhere, it was also quality advertising, and that
Right.
was the big key there. You can throw a bunch of advertising. If it's shit, it's just a pile of shit.
Right.
Right, but that was Ryan Reynolds doing a personalized.
yeah.
Yeah, he went out of
Scenes.
his way to do stuff with different websites
And it wasn't
different
just,
companies and
But it just wasn't like go see this movie
it felt
trailers.
organic.
You
It-
had
it
him
felt like a
popping up
passion
here
project.
and there, doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yes.
The PSAs, the public health
Yes.
things that he
Yeah.
did.
The ones
for
that are on the
testicle and
Slick
health
Willie's,
cancer,
Exactly.
or breast care.
The ones that are on the Last Call podcast
gotta
Facebook
say-
They
page.
come up.
as far as you guys keep bringing up the suit, and he talked about stealing the suit from the set.
Yes.
As far as just superhero movies go and superhero suits,
Right.
I gotta say Deadpool has got to be one of my favorite looking superhero suits.
And
All
the
right.
back
in
was
the
still
entire-
Velcro.
And it looks like the only thing that was CG
Right.
You caught that
was
at the
the
end?
white inside of the eyes.
That and I love that they showed the evolution of the suit.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, they went into
Because
the
I
white
feel
and black
like they
suit
did that
too.
even better than Spider-Man ever pulled that off.
Well, because Spider-Man never showed an evolution.
Oh
they
no,
just
they
went
did. In Spider-Man,
the very
in the
first
one,
one.
He did
Was
the
it
whole,
Tobey
He
Maguire?
did the whole
Yeah.
drawings thing, but they didn't show it in action. They didn't show him going into the field with the suit and then over time just
That's
tweaking it
true.
and updating it.
It
I don't
started
remember
out
what's-
as him in the sweatsuit and the mask.
The rest
Yes.
as the wrestler,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then he draws out the suit and he's got the
and
suit.
then he's just
yeah.
like, boom, it's Spider-Man.
That's the little evolution
right, but
we
at
got
least
of it.
The evolution
Deadpool
was
had
great.
yeah.
But most important, I feel like again with Green Lantern, that entire fucking costume was CG. That was
and
their first mistake.
green.
That
And-
was their,
He's like,
well,
don't
that
make,
was
don't make the
their-
super suit green.
Thank you
the
for that
biggest
reference.
animated.
The
Or
biggest
animated,
mistake
yes.
that they could have made was to not actually put him in a costume, and because it's just CG dates really badly most of the
Well,
time.
there's a lot
and
of
I
complaints
just feel
have
like even with the mask that he wore on his head,
with the
it-
Velcro in the back.
yes, it looked like it fit appropriately. It wasn't CG; it was an actual mask, and I just liked it. I liked it. He actually resembled the comic book character to a fucking T, without having to go CG, except for the white on the inside of the eyes.
And he could do a lot of facial expressions with that mask.
Yes, that was probably the biggest thing there. Is that even masked, you could still see everything.
When he would do the "Oh my God" with
Oh,
his
God,
hands
that
on
was
his
beautiful.
face.
You're just looking between the back, between them and the spot. And he's like,
Right.
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, God.
Yes.
oh man.
Oh my God. Just like, oh.
So the one thing I did want to bring up that I thought was just balls out hilarious in my sense was they kept bringing up Wolverine a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
Now,
did. They
I
did.
just had to.
I don't- okay. I
His
don't-
name rhymes with Pulverine.
Wolverine.
yeah.
I don't know if Nick or Phil know. I'm pretty sure Paul knows the whole thing between Deadpool and Wolverine.
There's a lot of things between
Yeah,
Deadpool and
but-
Wolverine.
The long story short, Deadpool has a major hard-on for Wolverine and Spider-Man,
Right.
both
Oh,
of which
really
man.
wants to be their
but both
friend,
are
and they don't want to
within
interfere with
Fox territory.
Oh no.
Are they not anymore?
Sony has Spider-Man.
Sony, my bad.
Yeah.
Sony has
Oh,
Spider-Man.
that's
I
right.
bet.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I just thought that was even more hilarious that they actually did a couple of Wolverine references.
And
to where
the
they
Hugh
even
Jackman
had the
face,
face
yeah.
stapled on his.
that was great. That's why I'm saying, at the end credit scene, which, again, if you haven't seen Deadpool, I don't know why you're listening this far in, but there's an after credit scene, so stick around.
Stay for that. Yes.
But in the after credit scene, they're riffing on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I immediately caught that, which was hilarious.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that there's an after credit scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
But anyway.
Well, that was '85, so.
If in
But
that
it's a
moment,
classic.
in that moment when he's peeking around the corner and he's like, "What are you still
What are you
doing
doing
here?" if what I assume is either a closet door or a bathroom door that's right in the middle of the frame.
The bathroom is on the left, and
okay, whatever that door was that was right in the middle. If that had
It
opened,
was a door to a master
and
bath.
Hugh Jackman had been in there, not even as Wolverine, just like
Hugh
as
Jackman-
like
Hugh Jackman sitting on the
kidnapped
toilet.
Hugh Jackman
Well,
for some
right.
reason. I wanted a cameo from Hugh Jackman
But they-
so fucking bad.
But they already said why they can't
Graves
have
just-
more X-Men.
well, right,
Just
the
Hugh
budget.
Jackman
Yeah.
sitting
The
on
budget.
the toilet
Budget.
and Deadpool just walk
But
in
just
and sit on
like-
his lap.
Right.
Passion project to passion project. Okay,
Well,
like
okay, but Hugh Jackman's passion project is no longer Wolverine.
well, sure, but okay. So Ryan Reynolds has come out and publicly said that he would play Deadpool for the rest of his life if he was given the chance. And Hugh
Right.
Jackman has played Wolverine longer than any other character has ever played a comic book
But
character.
he's also stated that this is the last
The
movie.
next one will be his
So
last.
just for the sake, just for shits and giggles, if Hugh Jackman was just like, if he was approached with the idea of doing a cameo in Deadpool and just agreed to it without getting paid or anything like that, just did it, that would have been fun. That's the only gripe that I have about that movie is that there wasn't a cameo.
I only see that happening one way, and that's if Ryan Reynolds himself managed to convince Hugh Jackman.
Right,
'Cause
that's
that's
what-
the only
yes.
possible way. I don't
Okay.
see a studio. I don't see a
Right.
bunch of
So-
money convincing him. I see Ryan Reynolds in Wade
Deadpool,
Wilson mode,
yeah.
trying to convince Hugh Jackman to do it.
So here's my
With the
theory
cell
on that.
phone
yes.
video.
Here's my theory on the end credit scene. Is that they filmed the end credit scene like 2 weeks before
2-3.
the movie came out
Okay.
because they decided we're gonna go with the Deadpool 2
And then Cable.
Oh, right, right,
because he makes reference to a Deadpool 2 in the end credit scene,
right,
and that is something that would have been very last minute.
right, yeah. And we need to talk about that because we need to talk about him talking about Cable.
Cable,
And
yeah.
where maybe you two, Paul and Jimmy, where you two see a potential sequel for Deadpool going, because I'm too casual of a fan to really make it.
Oh, man, we're gonna have fun with this.
guesstimation. But I do know that Cable, because of what Ryan Reynolds said, is a time traveler.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking. This franchise could go fucking anywhere.
No,
if they incorporate Cable.
So I was reading on the web today. It was an article that came out today. I'll send it to you so we can link it to the podcast. But Deadpool 2 will be the setup for. Yeah, I said it really fucked
oh
up.
right, you were telling me.
Will
about
be a setup for X-Force,
which is
I would
Which
love
is-
that. Holy fuck! I didn't even thought about that.
which is
Don't do
the
this to me.
team that Cable leads. That is essentially like an X-Men,
But Black
But-
Ops.
Black Ops, essentially in a way.
They are the wreckers of the X-Men universe. I don't know
Yes.
if you
so
have
is
any
it like
idea what the wreckers
Suicide
are.
Squad
Phil.
in the X-Men universe?
Kinda.
No.
maybe.
They're
It's in
the
a-
SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
Of the.
They're like a-
yeah.
nice.
But it's all new recruits. So
who's in there? Who's in the team?
So
not with the classic X
no,
Force.
no,
Not the classic.
no classic
Give me
X-Men.
with
Okay.
some facts. Who's in the X-Force?
So the X-Force has, I want to say T-Hawk, but that's the Street Fighter 2 guy.
Oh,
Now we're crossing
But
genres here.
it's essentially the same guy. He's an American Indian. Has the same
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird. There you go.
Okay.
It has Cannonball, who is a guy from
Cannonball.
West Virginia, if I remember correctly. Farrell, who is a woman that is essentially a cat
Think
Okay.
of a
But-
female
beast, a female beast.
a female beast, pretty much.
Okay.
And then it's got Scattershot or Scatterstar. That
Scatterstar.
is the guy that was in the Mojo universe.
Steve Harvey Mojo.
Yeah, Steve Harvey Mojo. But he crosses over and does his thing with the group. And
What
then
was-
Domino, who is essentially Cable's love interest,
Okay.
and then Cable as the leader.
And is Deadpool supposed to be a part of any of this or no?
Well, so the original storyline is that Cable pulls these guys together,
Okay.
minus Deadpool.
Okay.
And so X-Force starts at 91. And then, like, 4 issues in, Deadpool is supposed to be the guy that's trying to assassinate Cable
Okay.
and doesn't. But it gets kind of weird at that point because you find out that Deadpool fails, obviously. And then you find out that Domino is actually replaced by Vanessa Carlyle.
I thought you were gonna say Vanessa Carlton, and I was just like,
Making
what
my
the
way
fuck am I
downtown,
missing?
walking
No.
fast.
Domino is replaced by Vanessa Carlyle, who is Deadpool's girlfriend in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
now,
she's-
now that we're talking about that, did you notice the streak of silver in her hair?
Yes,
Yeah,
kind
a little
of.
later in the movie,
I
yeah.
figured that was gonna be the way they allude to it.
I did
caught
not notice that
I
at
caught
all.
that like really early on
Yeah.
too. I was like, are they gonna try and do it later on in the sequel where she becomes Domino? That'd be kind of cool.
I kind of figured when they put her in the little tube thing,
they would do
Like
something.
they
to
would
her.
initiate her mutant power. But her power, she's the mutant copycat.
Okay.
So, like Mystique, she can take on the appearance of a mutant, but she has the added benefit of taking their power too.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So, copycat 100%.
Nice.
And so, in the comic books, the Domino in X-Force and the first 20 episodes, issues,
Yeah.
is Vanessa Carlyle as Domino.
Huh.
So it was one of those things where it was like, oh, well, Domino wasn't the character was not the Domino you should know later.
Right. Huh.
Because Copycat can copy your image and your power.
Wow. That'd be a pretty dope ass power to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, I have some sad news, random news. But it's very sad.
What happened?
The jukebox does not carry X Gonna Give It To You.
Ah,
No DMX.
boo.
No, it has
No
DMX,
DM
but
oh.
it doesn't have X Gonna Give It To You.
Wow, that hurts my heart.
It
I'll put in some in post, and maybe I can throw in some X.
The
Gonna
Wham.
Give it to you.
Wham.
All
and
right,
Wham.
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 outro.
We'll go with Wham.
X gonna give it to you intro.
What's the other one that he was
No.
listening to on the bridge?
Salt
Salt
and
and
Pepper?
Pepper, the shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
One time for actually making good on his promise at the end. Remember when he said, "Even if I die, I will come back as a ghost and play fucking Wham
Yes.
to
yeah.
you, so
Yes.
you can hear it." And he does it right at the end. Even so, he's like,
On
"Bam,
the phone. On
promise
the phone.
kept." I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes."
On
there
the
you
phone.
Go.
He
That-
also made a promise to those guys at the beginning that they were going to have to line up so he can
Yes.
save one ammo.
When he's got 12 bullets.
That's right. Oh,
need-
that was
Okay,
a
I only
one.
got
got
12, so
three
you're gonna
guys.
have to share.
That was a one.
Some
He
of
got-
you, some
what
of you are
appeared
going
to be
have to
three guys
share.
at first, but then only ended up being two. And he had to-
yeah.
And I love
Kabab
when he
the
was
other guy.
pissed off at the shooting at the guy and like, oh, dumb,
I love how
dummy.
each bullet was numbered.
Numbered, yes.
And you got to
And the-
see it. Oh, it was.
No.
That was a very kick-ass thing to do.
Not
That's what
only-
it reminded me of was
Yeah.
kick-ass.
Not only that, when they did the number thing and he just chills like that and he waits till the guy, he's like, click, click. Someone wasn't counting. Boom!
Oh
and
yeah.
just six them out.
And when that one dude is already dead, and he's so pissed off at that guy that he shoots him like two more times, and
And-
he's like, "God damn it, Deadpool, stop
Worth
it!"
it.
Dumb Deadpool, dumb.
Oh man, it was just so good.
Yeah.
it was so good. If Nick, if we get a sequel in the next couple of years, where do you want to see it go? As not being a diehard Deadpool fan, where do you see this franchise going?
With what little I know, what I saw in the movie, and what I've kind of been hearing from Paul and Jimmy, it would be interesting if they did take the cable thing and did the time travel.
Oh man,
and
that'd be nuts.
and going back to the divergent timelines, possibly bringing in two people that played the same character into the story to be the same character from two different
that'd
universes.
Be cool. That'd be cool.
Wow.
Say if you got like a McAvoy
That'd be really fucking
and,
weird, yeah, and that'd be fun.
Stewart, that'd be fucking.
That's
hilarious.
interesting.
That would be hilarious. Jimmy, what
Because
about
he
you?
needs to
Oh,
get
man,
whatever done,
there-
so he needs both of them.
Yes,
Ooh,
that'd
there's-
be amazing.
there's
That would be so fun.
I mean, I really do want to see a Hugh Jackman cameo like you do, Phil. Like,
I want it to
first
happen.
and foremost, I want
the
that
Hugh
to
Jackman
happen.
cameo.
I somehow.
No,
I
we're gonna get
somehow
a Tobey
wanna see
Maguire
them- I wanna
cameo.
see- I want
Even
to see a
Jennifer
Spider-Man.
Lawrence.
We'll get Tobey Maguire watch.
We'll get Tobey Maguire.
I would hope because I want to see a Spider-Man because he gets
Oh, that's amazing.
he gets really, really, really homoerotic with Spider-Man on
Just
many
like, he's-
occasions.
He just so wants
which
to be
is
their friend
fucking
so bad. Those two
hilarious.
guys, and they just like no.
I mean, if hopefully maybe
You
it
just
catches
know.
enough where maybe Marvel gets a little more involved with it, other than letting them use the Marvel intro, which I thought was also a really cool little thing they did. But interesting thing I would want to see is like Captain America jump over,
Oh,
because a little known fact
All
that
right.
not many people know is that Captain America is like the only person in the Marvel universe that actually likes Deadpool. Reason being, is because Deadpool in the comics actually idolizes Captain America.
Yep.
It's the whole reason he goes into the Weapon X project to become a super soldier.
No shit.
Because he idolizes.
Because he wants to be like
He
Captain
wants to be
America.
like
Yeah.
Captain America.
He
So-
they also made. There was
Right.
also when they were talking about names. There was all Captain Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool. Yeah, that was another shoot off.
There's all
to
no,
that.
no,
great.
just
That
Deadpool.
was
Okay.
Yeah.
great.
So-
they were right there, and it was just like Deadpool. It's so obvious, and then he was like Captain
Captain
Deadpool.
And I was like, no,
Like, no, that doesn't.
No.
That was
no,
also a
that's-
nice little tidbit to the fans, but also when Deadpool does some kind of crazy shit in the comics, usually Captain America's right there to like defend him or empathize because he went through the same shit he did, like the trials of being like a government test subject.
Yeah.
So he does feel for Deadpool and becomes like one of the only people that kind of likes him. So it would be kind of cool
Defends
to see
him in a way.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool to see him do it.
Who
To
played
show-
Shoop? Who played Shoop on the
No,
jukebox?
Jimmy.
Thank you so much. Well played.
We couldn't
Well
go DMX. We had to go Salt and Pepper.
Peppa.
It's just the
Peppa.
Elvira.
Yeah,
Peppa.
Peppa.
Um,
Oh,
Paul,
man.
where do you want a sequel to go?
So
Inevitable sequel.
So I saw on the internet they said that X-Force is coming up. At least Deadpool 2 would be a setup for X-Force.
Okay.
And Fox is building up steam with now the way they're going. Bryan Singer seems to be going in the right direction now.
But
So
it does seem like Apocalypse is going to be the last X-Men movie for a while because I think Bryan Singer wants to be done after this.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Well-
core actors want to be done after this. So where the fuck is the X-Men franchise going to go
well,
after
so
this?
Brian McAvoy is kind of
Brian McAvoy.
whatever
James
his name
McAvoy?
is. Yeah, James
Oh.
McAvoy. Sorry, I'm.
I hear McAvoy. I just think of the guys
I'm
that we went
drinking.
to high school.
Young
Chris
Professor X.
McClendon
Yeah.
and Chris
Yeah.
McAvoy that
you.
looked exactly alike, and they were like, "We're not related."
Yeah. So, like Jennifer Lawrence is done.
Right.
We know that. All the rest of the characters, the actors, they haven't announced they're done. They're not saying, you
Except
know.
for Hugh.
Well, Hugh Jackman,
Jackman.
yeah.
Yakman.
Um,
I don't even know. Is Jackman supposed to be in Apocalypse? I have no
Nope,
idea.
he's-
That's the
he-
last.
no, I
no.
thought a third Wolverine movie was supposed to be.
He's
his
got
last
one in him, and he said that was it. After
All right,
that.
well,
there could
regardless-
be a cameo in Apocalypse.
regardless,
Maybe because with the whole they're going with his four horsemen, and this one's supposedly Magneto's supposed to be the fourth horseman.
Right.
In the comic books, actually Wolverine becomes one of the horsemen.
Really?
what?
yeah, a
Shut
lot
your
of memes
mouth.
make
I don't
that.
remember that.
Yeah,
A lot of
You
memes
don't-
make that that part
no,
of that.
he becomes
whatever.
he becomes
part of that roster.
I believe he becomes Death. He becomes one. I remember he does become one of the fourth horsemen.
When?
It is. Oh, I'm trying to remember. It's a brief stint. It's a very brief stint. I have to go through my.
I think you're mixing him up with Gambit.
No.
Gambit becomes one of the four
Yes, he
horsemen?
does.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
He
Holy
becomes
balls.
Famine, if I remember
Yeah.
He
correctly.
becomes
Missing out, man.
I have the encyclopedia at home. I'll go through it. Oh shit! No, I don't anymore. I lost that because of that whole thing. No,
you
I will
better
find
Google
it.
it right now, fucker.
I will find it, but he is briefly one of the
Nick's
four
gonna
horsemen.
Google it.
Just like Archangel, which I was kind of cool that they're going with.
Angel, that is an
No,
Archangel.
he has the metal wings. In
Right,
the
Yeah,
movie.
but
I
he's
thought he was
Archangel.
a long time.
No,
that roster.
no,
I'm
he
a
was
little upset that Psylocke is going to be one of the four horsemen.
Psylocke
you
and
know.
Storm are the other two.
Yeah, that's a
So for the
little-
movie, it's Archangel, Psylocke, Storm, and Magneto.
Right, and
So which is going to be interesting how that turns out because
a little upsetting too.
yeah, because normally in the comic books he tries to pick people that fit.
it could
the
have been
names,
Cabal and
like
you know,
keep it like a pestilence and all that. He
Right.
goes with people who have the powers that kind of simulate that horseman.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll see where they go.
Well,
with
like
it.
Gambit was War, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
Gambit was war.
Yeah.
I think
According
Wolverine was
to
war at one
Wikipedia,
point.
Oh, you're right. right.
Played by Death was Archangel, Caliban, Wolverine, Gambit, Psylocke, Sanjir Javed, Banshee, Dakin, Grim Reaper, and Sentry. Famine was Autumn Rolfsven, Ahab, Sunfire, and Jebli. Pestilence played
Jubilee.
by Plague,
Plague.
Caliban, Polaris, Ishumushi. War was Abraham, Kairos, Hulk, Deathbird, Gazer, and let's see, Decimus Furious.
Oh,
Yeah, I got over here. It says
But
in a
it doesn't
battle.
mention.
It saes in a battle
Oh, it
against the
doesn't
X-Men,
mention
Death
Gambit,
was
okay.
unmasked and revealed to be Wolverine.
Wolverine. There we
Oh,
go.
all right.
And then I know the
missed
whole-
that
People
one.
have made
Dropping
that
knowledge
roster over the
here, man.
years.
I
Yeah.
missed that one. I'm sorry.
And then I
I'm
know
sorry.
Angel became one because he loses his wings
Well,
to
that
a fight
was
with
at
the Marauders.
Yeah, that was in the
and then
90s.
Apocalypse is like, I can give you your wings back.
And then he's Archangel.
and he becomes Archangel, and then he loses the Meta Wings. and
But he grows
he grows his
the-
other ones underneath him, and he becomes Angel again. But he keeps his appearance still.
Weird.
Yeah.
It is
That's
hell
in
of a time.
depth. It's in depth.
Yeah.
I gotta say, are you, Paul? Are you done about your concept
In
for
the
like
animated
No, no,
series,
but,
Pyro was one of the horsemen.
You know what? I see
He
Deadpool
was,
2,
But
as they
animated was a
say,
different thing,
the
They didn't
the
mention
setup
which
for
studio.
X-Force, where they're not going to have the entire X-Force team,
Mm-hmm.
but Cable, Domino, Deadpool in some story, whatever mix it is.
Right.
Just, shake it up, throw it out there.
I'm just looking forward to more movies. I don't really know where I personally want the franchise to go. I just know that I want more of it. But I would personally love, really
Careless
love,
Whispers.
if they had a cameo from Andrew Garfield playing himself, Andrew Garfield, talking about how pissed off he is about what happened with his Spider-Man franchise, just being real mad about
All right,
it.
all right. So the other part of it should be that there is a cameo with Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds
Oh, that would be
talking
that would
to
be,
Deadpool.
That'd be fucking great.
Have somebody else in the suit and just like
No,
right
no, no,
face to face?
CG. You're gonna CG,
CG?
that.
No, I would. I don't know.
Well, no, but not CG. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Camera
Yeah.
tricks.
Yeah.
Or like how they did it like in Austin Powers when they had like Austin and Dr. Evil, even though it's,
Yeah.
just have them like not off screen, but like not
Right.
on the same time, but like going between them,
Right.
making it work. That would be great.
Right. That's all I expect.
That would be amazing.
Cable, Domino, and Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool movie
Yeah.
sequel.
I dig that. I can dig that for sure.
I
We're about to hit the hour mark, so we
Ryan
got
Reynolds should be talking about
That's
a
why
Green Lantern
this
sequel.
Thank you, Jimmy, for the outro music.
Oh man, you
I
gotta
think we
love
got to go to the wheel for a
Our
shot,
last shot.
for a
I'm going to the
finale
wheel
shot.
right now.
Damn, we're already cutting it there.
We're gonna dance
Yeah,
again.
yeah. It was a good movie.
I tried looking up the budget for the next TMNT, and I
Yeah.
could not find it.
Damn.
Everything I at least briefly looking, it kept mentioning Obama and the original 1990 one. I was like, what does Obama have to do with anything with TMNT?
What's the new one even called?
Out of the Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it says Kamikaze.
You want to do
Kamikaze.
Kazis? I'm down.
I'm down.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
Down.
I'm down.
We should come up with some type of Deadpool themed shot.
We should work on
that's-
that.
Ooh, what
Oh,
would we
I
call
like
it?
Probably
that.
just the aborted fetus.
The aborted? No.
Kazi? Kamikaze? Shot?
Ooh. No, Chimichanga sounds weird for a shot name. The Chimichanga.
Hey,
You're
Phil,
right. I
can
don't
you
think that
see-
information's been released yet for
No.
the budget for that movie. But I'm just saying, like,
Can
The
the
you,
special
uh,
effects
get
should look
Cam-
way
The first
better in that
Michael
movie.
Bay one, they had 125 million
Are you kidding me?
for the budget. Yeah,
So that means that this one has more of a budget, maybe
It's got a
double
high-
that
higher.
budget.
Yeah,
And the CG looks like absolute shit.
yeah. it
I would
doesn't
be
look-
way more into those new Ninja Turtle movies if the CG didn't look like such absolute shit.
All right. So, I hate to say this. They're looking a lot better.
What do you mean?
The
From-
CG
compared
for
to, like, the first movie?
Yeah. No. The trailer.
Okay.
From the first
right.
trailer.
Well, Nick had that theory that it was like unfinished effects.
Right.
And I think that that's true to a certain
Because
extent.
I think Bay's had a history of that too.
For
His
their
production
sake,
company.
putting unfinished effects
unfinished.
in trailers.
They release
Right.
they release it unfinished shots. Not all the effects, not all the layers
Yeah.
have been applied
It,
to the
yeah.
scene or whatever
Yeah.
they're showing.
It's like when Dumb and Dumber 2 or whatever with Jim Carrey.
Oh, and the
when Jim
wrinkles.
Carrey looked all
Oh.
wrinkled up,
Yeah.
like
he
the
should.
Mummy,
That certainly was a bummer. Just that movie as a fucking whole.
Well, I'm not talking the movie, just the trailer.
right,
you
right.
know.
The CG.
They CG Jim Carrey smooth. You
boo
know.
that movie. Guys, we're what's today?
Today is
14th.
Today's
Sunday the
Sunday.
14th.
Technically, it's Monday the 15th.
Oh,
Okay.
by the way, I had to complain about my Valentine's Day, but we're not going to go there.
We're a month out from Batman v Superman.
Yes,
No
we
shit.
are.
Oh, yes. Actually, I wrote down the release dates for a lot of comic
I believe
movies.
it's March 20th.
We're
right?
also less than 12 hours away from
All right.
the finale for Gravity Falls coming up.
Yeah.
Really?
No,
The ending of it?
Don't
Yeah.
do this
Shit.
to
And
me.
not the finale, but it's going to be the ending, the last few episodes
Yeah.
starting up today, technically.
I don't know. Have y'all seen Gravity Falls by
No.
chance?
I
I've
haven't.
seen a couple
Great
episodes.
fun
Do
and they're
yourself a
great.
favor.
for
Go
kids.
on Netflix. Go watch Gravity Falls.
Is it on
Anybody who is
Netflix?
listening, yes, it is.
I'm going to
Really?
have to watch it.
Go look up Gravity Falls. It is
Okay.
a Disney XD show, but I swear to God, it is one of the
God.
best written cartoons I've
yeah.
seen in a long
like,
time.
It's
Yeah.
got amazing
Like
writing,
Rick and
amazing.
Morty.
Like
Will
Rick
do.
and Morty.
That's
yeah,
not
it's
a
like,
kids show at all.
Yeah,
But yes,
it's
it's an animated show and it's fucking
basically
great.
yeah. Gravity Falls is like the kid-friendly version of Rick and Morty. It's just so well.
Which, by the way,
What?
Dan Harmon, not Dan Harmon, but the guy who does Morty's voice shows up in Gravity Falls.
Really?
Plays Blendon Brandon,
Oh, shit.
the
Wow.
time traveler.
Wow. Either way,
Fucking badass.
you need to watch that show. It is very fucking good. Holy crap.
Yes.
I'll check it out for sure.
It surprised me when I first saw it. I got addicted almost instantly.
Yeah,
Nice.
because I heard
It's-
people making reference, and I was like, "What the hell?" I was
Just watch it.
drinking
Check
one
it out.
night, and it was on Disney. I was like, "All right, I'll give it a try," and I was hooked.
Did,
after like 2 episodes.
Did everyone see the newest trailer for Batman v
Yeah.
Superman?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. I just watched it tonight.
You watched it. You watched it.
Yeah.
You hadn't watched it. Everyone else, Jimmy, you
I
saw it?
saw it and I'm kind of hazed out now. Deadpool kind of blew everything out of my mind.
This trailer was
Pegged
not,
it more of a Batman movie than it had before.
but
than
it
with
was
Superman.
not only the best trailer that they've put
That's
out
what I
so
heard,
far.
yeah.
It's the only trailer that they really should have put out for this movie.
The second trailer.
Yes, or yeah, even that, because the other trailer that they put out that just
The last
spoiled
one?
like everything.
Yeah,
it
showed
showed
the
way
whole
too
fucking movie.
much. It showed way
so
too
much so that I don't know if I should go see it right away.
Paula has to this day refused to watch that trailer because he doesn't want that to be ruined for him. But it looks so much better. Like that one trailer took me from being on the fence to being like, oh, I'm gonna see this in theaters like opening weekend for sure. Like I knew we were all gonna see it,
Yeah.
but for
Right.
sure, opening weekend. Oh, nice. That's Swiss Beats. Is that
DMX and Swiss Beats.
But I'm looking forward to that. I'm still looking forward to Suicide Squad, but I just know that that's the very, very next one that we get is
Right,
Batman
well-
v Superman.
So I wrote down the actual release dates.
Right on.
Comic book wise, not including computer games.
I
like,
keep forgetting. Me and Steve were talking about this earlier today, but I keep forgetting that the Doctor Strange movie is coming out this year in November.
Right. Oh,
with
I-
Cumberdick
I-
Bandersnatch.
December, yeah.
Okay.
I just went to May, so
Okay.
we don't want to go that far out.
Sure. We're still early in the
All
year.
right.
We're still
Right,
kind
right.
of
Hell, even
Paul
Suicide
dropped
Squad
some
got moved up a
schedule
whole month.
knowledge on us.
Did it?
What are
Yeah,
we
it was
looking
It's
at?
not
supposed to
in
come out
August
mid.
anymore?
No, it's supposed to come out mid-September. Now it's late August.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Go
So-
for it. Give it to us.
If you have listened this far and have not watched it, Deadpool came out 2 days ago. And
Get on
you
it.
Suck. You
What
suck.
have you been doing with your life?
Right, right. Why are you
Go
listening to
see
this
the
at this
movie.
point? On Netflix, Daredevil season 2 will
Ooh.
start March 18th.
Yes.
Yes, they just put out a new trailer too that I haven't
Yes,
watched yet.
I
Yes,
have not.
I
gotten
haven't
to
seen it yet.
Haven't seen
I
either
saw
of
the
them,
teaser
actually.
to the trailer, which only had one line on it, and
Right.
that was some Punisher to Daredevil going, "You know, you're just one bad day away from being me." I was like,
Right,
Oh.
right. It's amazing. It's amazing.
One word, beautiful.
All right.
Or one sentence, powerful. Beautiful.
So March 25th is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Which
Alright.
I'm honestly like, when I was talking with a buddy about this earlier, he was like, I never even saw the last Superman movie. Should I? And honestly, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I fucking hated the last Superman movie.
Which one
but
was it?
Oh,
I
The
think that
Man
it
of
was
Steel?
Man of
Was it
Steel.
Man of
when he
Steel?
fought General Zod,
And I
actually-
gotta say,
What was the
I
first one
probably
called then?
hated it so
Whoa,
much because
okay.
I don't like Superman as a character. I don't care about him. I
Well,
could give a
okay.
fuck less about
so why do you not like Superman?
because he's Superman. He's always gonna fucking win in any situation he's in.
Even when he's dead, he
Even
wins.
with kryptonite involved,
He's cookie cutter.
Superman is always going. Outside of the death of Superman, Superman always wins. Like I guess you could say the same thing about any hero, but to me it's just like he's too powerful. I don't care about watching the struggle with the fight or any of
Okay.
that. I just think he's too
All right,
he's
all right,
too
all right.
powerful. That's all I got.
No, no, no,
So,
no, no, no.
out of
that is the reason why they did the death of Superman.
Yeah.
They had to make him not so powerful.
Okay.
And so your feedback is essentially the same thing that we got in 1994, where they had to kill Superman.
To show that he's not omnipotent, all-powerful kind
Right.
of deal.
I mean, back in the 40s and 50s and even the 60s, there were so many powers that Superman had that was just
Why?
stupid. It was like, oh, Superman will always win no matter what.
Yeah.
And he could come up with magical power that never ever existed.
He'll never use it again after that. Ice breath. He
Right.
has ice breath. Most people don't even know that.
Yeah.
No, like as Superboy pushing the Earth out of the way, and people thought Superboy was doing a handstand,
Okay.
and he was pushing the Earth out of the way of a meteorite that would have destroyed Earth.
Speaking of Superboy,
that seems excessive. I would have just gone up to the meteorite and
And
pushed
knocked
the
out the
meteorite
meteorite.
out of the way.
Which, by the way, makes Justice League Doom interesting, where Superman's like, oh, well, there's a solar flare coming towards Earth. I'm just going to push the Earth out of the way. And Batman's like, if it took me 2 weeks, I couldn't explain all of the things that went wrong with your plan.
All right, well, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we
Let's
gotta
bring it
wrap it
back
up.
full circle before we do our shots. Paul, if you were to recommend Deadpool to somebody who hasn't seen it on a scale of full price, matinee, or DVD rental, what would you recommend it?
I would say full price, twice, 3 times. You got to go see it multiple times.
Nick, what do you say?
Go see it, even if you have to wait for it to come out at the dollar theaters. Go see it.
In theaters.
Yeah.
In theaters. Fair enough.
on a scale of what we're going with, anybody who's listening, listen very serious, because what I'm about to say is 100%. I'm being real here. If you haven't gone to see it, let me know. Hit me up. Facebook, social media. I don't give a fuck where you hit me up. Let me know you haven't seen it. I will take you myself to see it.
Jimmy
That is
wants
how
you to
good
skip
this movie-
work.
I want you to skip work. We will play hooky together. I don't skip work ever. I will take you and pay for both of us so we can see it. That's how much I want you to see this movie.
That's a fucking stellar review right there. I got to agree. I'm going to say full price across the board. I'm going to pay full price to see it again in theaters.
So
Oh,
should this be
weekend.
our new thing? See it multiple times in theaters opening weekend, down to wait till it comes out on TV.
Hey, I would have done it. I would have done
Wait till it comes out on broadcast network.
No, we still need to
Broadcast
we still
television.
need to go
If-
watch something heavily inebriated all together and
Yes.
see how
Oh,
we react
yeah.
to that.
For sure.
it.
For sure.
If I was not on call, I would have gone and seen it.
Well, we'll figure it. We'll make this work somehow, Paul.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
To an excellent
Cheers.
show and to an excellent movie.
Yes.
Do
to
it.
a-
And
fucking
cheers
A.
to last week.
Oh,
Yes.
and
How awesome that show was.
And
That was
oh,
one
man.
of the best shows we've
I-
ever done.
I don't think we're ever gonna touch that again. Last week's show, we're not gonna.
If you're new to the podcast, you should go find that episode and
Right,
listen to it.
right.
That was one of the
Front to back.
greatest.
oh, by the
man.
way, on the last episode, I have to apologize.
Oh, Grant.
Yeah,
I think we all need to apologize.
Yeah,
for
we
something
all
at
need
this
to apologize
point.
for some things that were said. I have to apologize. I do not know what Michael Jackson's butthole tasted like, and I would like to apologize to the state of Michael Jackson
There were
for
lots
such
of complaints about what you said.
such inflammatory statements.
Nick, I mean,
I'd
you want
like
to
to
go?
I'd like to apologize to the people of Croatia. They have a very beautiful country, and I do not wish chicken blood to rain down upon them ever.
And Taylor Swift, I wholeheartedly apologize for the things I said because that even took the guys aback. So that's me for everyone to hear. I am so sorry. Please call me back. It was bad. It was really bad. I apologize. That's scary. That's weird. Can we delete that last part, please?
Yeah, and I would like to apologize about all the inappropriate things I said about the Kool-Aid Man.
Ooh.
We got some angry tweets, and I didn't mean any of it.
Man,
I'm pretty
you-
sure he's a fictional character.
Why did you even
can't
bring?
be that mad at me?
Why'd you
I'm
have
sorry.
to put those images back in my head? I forgot about them, and now they're back,
I'm
and now
so
they're burning.
sorry. All right.
Oh God. Oh God. Cheers.
Thanks
We
for
need-
listening, guys. It's the Last Call podcast. Thank you very much. My name is Philip Rocco.
This is Jimmy Salazar.
Ba weep grana weep ninny bong. This is Nick Stone.
And Paul Adami.
goat,
right.
and then ever since then, a lot of people were like, I wonder if he ever really went into it or was kind of curious about that. And then you came with Deadpool, and it's like, yeah, let's just show him naked. Lots of Ryan Reynolds ass.
Yes,
everywhere.
the Christmas sweaters.
The Christmas sweater sex. Oh man.
I think everyone. Oh, real quick. Is his girlfriend in the movie?
Vanessa Carlyle.
What is she in? Because she looks
Gotham.
so familiar.
Gotham or Firefly. Use probably.
Okay, Firefly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She was Crazy-Eyed Chloe on How I Met Your Mother.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
There we
The
go.
whole time.
That's the way you know her. That's the way you know her.
Crazy Eye
That is.
Chloe.
Well, that and Firefly. I haven't watched Gotham
okay.
yet.
But she's
All
she's she's
But I was
adorable,
like,
man.
that looks like
Yeah.
that crazy bitch that Marshall was dating and How I Met Your Mother for like one episode.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell Sam so bad, but I didn't want to be wrong. And then I've never like looked into it. So thank
Yeah,
you
that's her.
for confirming that. No,
She plays
I thought
Lee.
Cindy.
Hey,
Come here,
Cindy.
Gotham.
Come here.
Come with
here.
you.
Just
You-
another person's opinion.
You saw
real
the movie,
quick.
right?
If you could
Have you
just,
seen
you're right into Jimmy's microphone. What'd you think? What'd you think of Deadpool? Because you saw it today, or you saw it yesterday, right? When did you see it?
Why is yes? Yeah,
You saw it, but you saw it.
I saw it.
Okay.
Okay.
What did
What'd
you
you
think of Deadpool?
I think it was probably the best movie I've seen in the longest time.
Nice. Boom. That's
Awesome.
that's as much as you
Boom.
need right there.
Such a bubble. Such a bubble.
I thought all of the I thought all of the cast was great. I especially like T.J. Miller.
Oh, God. He
I
played a
like
perfect
that
weasel.
even though a lot of the funny bits were in the trailer, there were still way
The funny
more
bits
funny
for
shit.
T.J. Miller.
Well, right, but T.J. Miller, it's not like all of his funny bits were in the trailer, you know?
Right,
Like, he
sure.
still had some weight in the movie. I like, again, I'm not too familiar with the Deadpool universe, very casual fan, but if he's an actual character in the comic,
Yes.
does he
He's-
actually
he's-
run a bar
Weasel.
like
He's,
that?
he
He's
actually
Weasel.
the old lady Blind Owl
yeah.
and Weasel are both very prominent. They are pretty much his little gang in
That's
his
awesome.
entire
Right.
comic
That's
book
awesome. I had
series.
no
In the
idea.
comics, Weasel is his weapons procurer.
Did he go by the name Weasel in the
Yes.
movie? Did I
Yeah, he
miss
did.
that?
They didn't really say it too much.
They mentioned it like once.
He said like
Yeah.
once, and then he went by like Wheeze a couple times. But they didn't-
Wheeze, that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Wheeze.
But
Okay.
he is Weasel, and they did go with that, especially with Al. I liked Al. The girl who played Al was
Yeah.
perfect too.
Where she was
Yeah.
complaining about the coke all the time, and
The
he's like,
fucking
God, I miss
cocaine,
Coke.
dude. That was beautiful.
"Okay, Al, I have a kilo and a half of coke buried somewhere in the house."
Right next to the cure
Right
for
next
cancer
to-
blindness.
Yeah. The
Cure for blindness.
Have fun. I was like, wow.
Oh man. Favorite jokes? Does anybody have one particular favorite bit that came out of the movie?
He got his name from the soap.
Oh,
When he's
the
giving him
Ajax.
the shit, he's like, it's Francis. What? He said it's Ajax. So come on, he got it from this, and he says it just he got
Right
it.
now.
Man.
And then come back and listen.
Come back,
and rate
yes.
and review and, and all
Right.
that shit.
And rant and love it like we do.
And love it
Love
so
it,
much.
like just sweet, sweet loving. Oh
First,
God.
Let's just do a quick round. What did everybody think of Deadpool? Because I personally loved it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in theaters again very, very soon.
I'm pretty sure I came multiple times.
Oh wow,
And that whole,
that good.
I probably need another cigarette.
Was it the pegging?
Not even close. Sadly, it was nowhere near close to it. Probably a lot farther up there. We'll just go with that.
All right.
Awesome.
For not knowing very much about Deadpool, I loved it. I thought it was fucking hysterical.
Yes.
Great.
Right.
Hell yes.
I loved it. It was a great movie. It matched all of my expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then some.
And then some.
I agree. I think for me, I didn't read a whole lot of comics as a kid, but I did read some Deadpool comics. So but I would still consider myself a casual Deadpool fan. Whoa. And and even with that said, this movie hit every mark that I wanted it to hit. It gave you the origin story. It pushed boundaries for comic book movies. There was plenty of swearing, plenty of blood and guts, and there were even some titties in there. And
Yeah.
Stan Lee. And
And
it was a
silhouettes.
good time. Yeah.
Stan Lee as the strip club DJ was
Stan
easily
Lee J, if you
the
will.
best cameo he has done.
X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock. Open up the door. It's real.
We're still perfecting the audio.
Let me readjust both mics
Process.
here and we're good.
Ba, ba, ba.
Okay. we're
Yes,
awesome.
indeed.
Wow.
Welcome
Oh wait. Shit.
to the Last Call podcast. I am Philip Bracco. Here with me, I got
Jimmy Salazar.
Nick Stone.
And Paul Adame coming in with maximum effort.
Maximum effort. And right now, first and foremost, spoiler alert. If you have not watched Deadpool yet, turn this fucking podcast off right now.
Send
and
the
go
children
see
to
it.
bed.
What are you waiting for?
Right.
This is going to be our full-fledged discussion, spoiler, full review of Deadpool.
Oh,
Right,
man,
because
it's gonna be up there with a full frontal nudity
Yeah,
shot. It's
right,
gonna be great.
right. We're drinking. We're going to
talking
talk about
all
it.
of it. We're not holding back spoilers. Again, you've been warned. So
We're
I
going
think,
in
I think
raw.
that's it. Yeah, we're
yeah.
we're
If you're
going in
listening,
raw.
if you're listening to this right now still, and you haven't seen the movie, it's your fault.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame
Wait,
on
one more
you.
time for
Or
the
you
people in
hate yourself, so.
One more time for the people in the back. If you're still listening to this and you haven't seen this movie, get the fuck off of this right now.
And
Unless you just feel like listening to a couple or a few nerds discuss Deadpool and you have no interest in seeing the movie, which would be weird, but hey, thanks for
right,
listening.
right.
Hey,
but
whatever
I'm talking to
floats.
you. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie yet, you're a dumbass.
You with
Watch the movie,
Hot
right?
so far.
And that was the best.
Easily.
I think even Stan Lee would be happy if he were to, sadly and unfortunately, pass away. If that was his last
Yeah,
cameo,
we were
I
discussing
think
this
he
last
would be
week
100%
Where
okay.
about
with it.
how much time we had left with Stan Lee.
Right, yeah.
Hopefully, the time we do have left with him and the few movies he's gonna get here in the next few years,
Yeah.
these cameos are just top what we all saw tonight.
If we get
Or this weekend.
if we can get in the we'll talk about this more in a little bit, but in the Deadpool sequel or in a sequel down the road, if we can just get Stan Lee straight up motorboating, like titties in Stan
My
Lee's
God,
face.
yes.
That's gonna be
I
the
would
only
love
way
it.
to top the cameo
I
he had
would
in
love
this
it.
movie.
At the same strip club
At the same strip club.
where he's motorboating a stripper when he's supposed to be announcing the next dancer.
they start the movie celebrating that him and his girlfriend are back together, and they're there just having a good ass time, and then they just happen to get really drunk and get Stanley on stage to motorboat one of the
No.
strippers.
No,
he
he
started
they-
like that.
They just start there, and
He
he's.
motorboats Ryan Reynolds' ass.
Oh yes.
We got a lot of bare Ryan Reynolds' ass in this
Yes.
movie.
we just got a lot of
Both
Ryan
and I
Reynolds
was
on
strangely
Star.
comfortable with it.
Right. I was
Okay.
not. I was not upset.
I think it's because it was expected.
Actually, I think mainly because it was very expected, and we kind of had to deal with it when he was in Waiting, and they had the game
yeah,
where they
yeah.
show each other their dick.
the goat.